Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Gooner. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And welcome to another preview. And today we're going to be talking about Arsenal v West Ham, week 2 of the Premier League season. Listen, the games are coming thick and fast now that the season is underway. And joining me this evening, we have Simpy. How are you, Simpy?
Yeah, I'm all good, Daniel. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And listen, your FPL show earlier was fantastic. It was great to be a part of that. Just tell everybody where they can find you, Simpy.
Yeah, sure. Cheers, Daniel. And yeah, it's just Simpy141 on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and just do gaming and FPL videos.
Yeah, and also we have our resident ladies man, Nitesh.
Yep. And when you said thick and fast, I remembered something, but I didn't comment at that point of time. And yeah, so you can find me on Arsenal FC Fans. The video is on there as well. So all you guys on Facebook, do tune in as well. And you can follow these guys on the Blind Gooner or Simpy's channel, Simpy's 141. Haven't you renamed it to Simpy? I'm a bit confused there.
It's really Simpy, but I couldn't just name it Simpy because that name was taken, so I had to add 141.
But now I think it shows up at Simpy. Anyways, Simpy 141, as he says. And yes, you can tune in for all our videos, FPL, football, Fortnite, and everything else. On Daniel does more of football and Arsenal stuff. So guys on Facebook as well, tune in as soon as possible. And yes, I may have some good news maybe by Monday with respect to FB. Because that I had put a boost on one of the videos and it's slowly crawling towards monetization now.
Yeah, yeah. So like Nitesh says, I do mainly football stuff, and on Simpy I join his stuff with FPL, and yeah, unless I get 20/20 vision in the next day or two or years or so, I'm not going to be doing any kind of Fortnite stuff because trying to play that blind, I'm sure your guys will probably get a hell of a laugh, and I'll be shot more times than Tupac. So yeah, that isn't going to happen. But yeah, do smash a like on this video, guys, and do hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Like I said to you guys in the last video, I'm trying to hit 5K before the end of the Premier League season. So that's by the end of the 2020-2021 Premier League season. My target is to hit 5K. So let's make it happen. Arsenal West Ham, how are you guys feeling about the game? Nitesh, I'll come to you first.
Let's hammer them in one sentence. I think that is hammers. Yep, exactly. Let's hammer them. Let's hammer the hammers.
Okay, and Simpy, how are you feeling about the Arsenal West Ham game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Bit more confident now. Obviously, we're full up on a high, kind of from obviously Aubameyang signing and winning the last game comfortably. So hopefully, and West Ham are on kind of a downfall, but we'll see. I'm quite confident.
Yeah, listen, I think, me personally, I think we should win this comfortably. If we don't, then there's going to be some real questions asked. I mean, especially with the squad that we've got, I think we have got the players to win this comfortably. The problem is, and maybe this is more at the London Stadium than potentially at the Emirates, but West Ham do have a habit of turning up against us. Now, I remember when we was in fine form, I think it was it last season or the season before? It might have been the season before, where we were due to play them at the London Stadium, and everyone was going, "Oh, we're going to win," and we end up losing it 1-0. So yeah, it's kind of a tricky game, but like I said, that generally tends to happen at the London Stadium. Usually at the Emirates, we've got quite a good record against them, and we're flying at the moment. We're the confidence is seeping through the team, whereas West Ham is quite the opposite. The confidence is seeping out of the team. But in terms of Arsenal, we are gaining confidence. We're on a high. The fans are on a high. I know there's going to be no fans there in the stadium, but even the players are on a high. The talisman Aubameyang has signed a new deal, which we all knew it was going to happen, but having that confirmation just takes that little pressure off and kind of takes the handbrake off as well. And I think that on Saturday we can expect a lot of goals from him. I think he's going to want to mark his first game after that big announcement with a flurry of goals, and I can see him running riot in this game because, let's be honest, West Ham is shit, and I can't see nothing other than 3 points for us. For me, it's just a question of how many goals we get. It's just a question of how many goals we get, and I think maybe from a West Ham's point of view, it's probably a case of how many goals how many goals do they not want to concede for their point of view? Because I think it is going to be that kind of game. I think it's going to be. I could easily see us winning by a large number of goals. But I don't know what you guys think. You guys might think differently.
I think if we don't win with as many goals as we scored against Fulham, like 3 goals at least, then I think there is something wrong with this team still, because Fulham was a newly promoted side. So 3 goals there was expected. Now West Ham, the way that they're struggling, again, another 3 goals would be at least expected. Clean sheet was a bit of a surprise against Fulham. But again, then their squad doesn't have the strike force that maybe West Ham has. Antonio is obviously better than the players that play for Fulham, and Mitrovic not playing, obviously. Antonio is better. They got some other players in midfield as well. I think they tend to earn penalties at times as well. And the main concern will be which will be the defense that starts for Arsenal. Because now if David Luiz is fit, that is one more thing. William Saliba, if he's fit, that is another thing. But Gabriel was man of the match. So there are a lot of things that we can possibly discuss as we get into it. But I think we should still be winning at least minimum by 3 goals.
Yeah, big up to everybody in the chat. Taib, Melina Khan. Taib called you the armpit lover, Simpy. And I won't read out his next comment.
Yeah, I saw that one. Absolutely joking.
But I get what you're saying, Nitesh, as well. Arteta's got a bit of a dilemma with this team because, like you said, Gabriel performed so well, and it'd be kind of hard to leave him out considering that he did perform so well. But then, if you get David Luiz back, if he's back from injury, then you've also got William Saliba. The one thing I kind of do think though is that Arteta's going to go with Gabriel just because he's a little bit older than Saliba. I think Saliba is going to be he's going to ease him in gently, whereas Gabriel, he has got a little bit more experience than Saliba. But who knows? Listen, we all thought Saliba was going to start against Fulham, and it turned out that it was going to be Gabriel ended up playing.
Yeah.
There were stories that he picked up a knock. But one thing I'll say now, see, generally everyone was saying that the reason David Luiz got a contract extension is because so that he will initially start and Gabriel and Saliba will eventually ease into the team. Now the thing is, now Gabriel was forced into the team. He did well. So we don't need to go backwards now. Now David Luiz should not be seeing the end of the tunnel in an Arsenal jersey unless there is an injury. As simple as that. Why will you take a step backward and go back to David Luiz? Not that I'm not saying that I've not been supporting him, but the thing is now, it was obvious that the year extension was just because of the fact that they wanted to give these youngsters some time to settle in. But now when you are already your youngster settled in the first game, got man of the match as well, why will you try to go backwards? The other thing is now I think it's high time for William Saliba to come in and Holding to be dropped. I think this is one game, West Ham, which is a team struggling again, where you can actually afford to do it. You may not be able to do it against maybe say a Liverpool, but then again, it's West Ham right now, so I think we should take the risk. If Saliba fits in as well, already Gabriel is in, Tierney is in, we got a whole new defense. This defense is way better than what we initially had. And if this is the defense that we start, I think we can even beat Liverpool quite comfortably.
Can I just say as well, to everybody asking about transfers on Facebook, me and Nitesh will probably do something tomorrow, transfer update. We'll talk about that off air. But yeah, anyone who's asking about transfers, we'll probably do an update tomorrow. Because there's a lot of you on Facebook asking about transfers. Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think this is a winnable game for us as well, like this West Ham game, and we have to keep momentum because don't forget next week we got Liverpool, and it's going to be a much tougher test. It's going to be a much tougher examination on where this Arsenal team is, so to speak. So, this week we're not really going to get examined. Like our mental capabilities, our physical capabilities as a team is not really going to come into question. But next week against Liverpool, both of those are going to be put to the test. So I do expect this game that we just go out, get the 3 points, keep momentum going, and then go into next week with high on confidence. I mean, we got that Carabao Cup game against Leicester in midweek, which is there's probably going to be a lot of changes for that game. So it's a very kind of critical period if as an Arsenal fan and as a team that is on the way up or potentially turning a corner, if you want to see it as that. But I am expecting a routine win on Saturday. Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, and one more thing
Let us know in the chat what you think. Sorry, sir.
No worries. What I wanted to add was that David Luiz would anyways not be my first choice to start against a team like Liverpool because of the fact that he's slow and Liverpool's attack is quite fast. The other thing is we need to remember one thing, that Liverpool also is not playing the best football that they can play at present. So it is as good as last season's game, and we beat them in the Community Shield as well. But obviously, they were not that serious maybe in the Community Shield, though it did not look the case, but the fans will argue. But at the end of the day, they look like a team that is not in form yet. So we can definitely try to get something from that game as well. It's at Anfield, so probably a draw will be good enough for us right now. If we win, then it's even better. But I think if you want to implement David Luiz, I think you can do it post the Liverpool game or in the League Cup in the Leicester game. I don't think it is a good idea to get him against West Ham because next game is Liverpool and you would want to either play Holding or you will want to play Saliba instead of David Luiz for that Liverpool game as well because he's too slow for the Liverpool attack. Salah will turn him around on various occasions. Even Mane, who's not scoring, he may break his, you can say, goal drought against David Luiz. So you don't want to put that guy up against these two. Firmino is gone on another planet. He's not on Earth right now. But at least these two guys, even if they're not scoring, if you saw the first game, Mane against Leeds, he played very well. He couldn't finish. That is a different thing. But if that same thing he does against David Luiz will be embarrassed for life. So I think it is better that we try to either play Holding or Saliba in that place, in that position against West Ham and then bring him and continue with that combination against Liverpool, even if we lose. I don't care, but I would want to stick with this combination for the Premier League at least.
Yeah, you don't want to drop a winning formula, do you? And like you said, the thing is, if we did play David Luiz in Nitesh against Liverpool, even though they have been shaky, like you said, we don't want to help them by giving them a penalty from David Luiz because we know what he's like in that aspect as well.
Yeah,
the thing is, he played in the league though, didn't he, against Liverpool, and he played in both in both the FA Cup semi-final and final, which which he's done well. The problem is, and I get your point as well, Nitesh, is we brought David Luiz back from injury when he wasn't fully fit against Man City in the league, and it backfired. So I'd rather not do that. I'd rather go with Gabriel, and I'd maybe go with Gabriel, Holding, and Tierney, because that formation kind of worked, that back three. I wouldn't go with both Gabriel and Saliba, although it would be mint, having the 2 6-foot guys against Liverpool's front three. I don't know how we kind of got onto Liverpool, and considering this is a West Ham preview, but we will get back to West Ham. But I get what you're saying. We need to maybe ease David Luiz and gently, maybe put him in for this game.
I would put him in the League Cup game, because there it is. That is also a crucial game. But Leicester is playing way more slowly. They're not playing fast football. Now West Ham again will be a slow game, but the fact is that it is with respect to what you want to do in the Premier League. As you said, I don't know how you, like you said, you didn't realize how we went into Liverpool, all of us. But the thing is that we are linking the West Ham game to Liverpool. If today I am playing a player, then again in the next game in the Premier League, I will be expecting to have the same starting 11. I can't go David Luiz. Okay, David Luiz is coming back. Okay, one game David Luiz, next game Saliba, next game Gabriel, next game Holding, and keep switching that. So we need to have a consistent starting 11, because if you remember, one of the main problems with Unai Emery was that he didn't have that consistent starting 11. So let's not try to do that now. And we clearly know that David Luiz is probably going to leave at the end of the season. Rob Holding was on the verge of going on a loan. He could still maybe go on a loan somewhere else. And the only way to find that out is if William Saliba is ready to play or not. And I think the West Ham game is one game. It's a London derby. I think we can use that game to find out. And I don't think West Ham will be that emphatic or that strong against us with the way that the problems that they have. We should eventually be still winning that game, and we can even test out one of our players. And Saliba is not bad. He's one of the best centre-backs that we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying about the starting 11. We don't want to keep changing it. Listen,
yeah, I
think there's a difference in changing it week in, week out, than changing it to suit your opposition. Against West Ham, you could probably stick a David Luiz in there because, like you say, they're not going to be, as strong as Liverpool. Against Liverpool, listen, their front three, if you put someone like David Luiz in there, their front three is just going to run rings right around him. Whereas I'd almost go with either Saliba or Gabriel, because they're unknown. Nobody knows what they're going to get from him, especially like if you're looking at it from a Liverpool's perspective. We put David Luiz in. Liverpool are going to go, okay, David Luiz, we know his weaknesses, we know his strengths. Whereas Gabriel and Saliba, the opposition don't know their strengths. Okay, we don't know their strengths at the moment. Well, Gabriel, you could probably gauge after one game, but I'd like to see that more on a consistent basis. But in terms of the opposition, they're not going to know what to expect from those two. Whereas David Luiz, they know what to expect. So I sort of get I do get your point.
Yeah. No,
but it's important that we don't overlook West Ham, and we focus on that Liverpool, because that's where we've been caught out in the past. Is we've had a lesser game, and we've looked ahead to the big game, and then we've actually screwed up the lesser game because we're so focused on the game after. And I think we need to focus on this West Ham, because if we're not careful as a team, if we don't focus on them, forget about Liverpool's next week. We've got 2 games before that. If we don't focus on the next game and we jump ahead too far, we're going to end up being in danger of not taking this West Ham side seriously.
It's not that we're not taking them seriously, but we are saying why. We are giving the reason why Saliba should start over Holding, and I'm giving the reason why Saliba should start over Holding and David Luiz, even if David Luiz is fit. You can keep Holding and David Luiz for the League Cup tie against Leicester. They're not bad, But at the end of the day, you need to make it, Arteta as a manager needs to make it clear to the players who is going to be my first choice and who is not. And when you look at that defensive line of Holding, Gabriel and Tierney, isn't this what Arteta wants? The best back line that he can have? I think this will be a very good back line. And apart from that, on the left wing, maybe Niles as he started, if not Saka, and on the right wing back position, Bellerin, as he has been doing.
Big up to Jade Shahid just joining the chat. Listen, I'm not after any more mods at the moment. Maybe when my channel grows a bit more, then I'll consider it. But I'll certainly bear you in mind for the future. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simply, what's your take on it?
What's the whole thing about, like you said, a winning formula? We've gone in. Yeah, it's only Fulham, but if you look at where West Ham currently are with the whole team morale, the team morale seems quite down. Obviously, the whole thing about selling that young player, and then Mark Noble came out and some other players came out complaining about them selling it, and the players don't seem happy with the board. Apparently, Moyes isn't being backed with new signings and stuff, so there was rumours of him walking as well. So I think their morale's down and our morale's up. Obviously, they just lost 2-0 to Newcastle. Didn't do too bad in that game. They did have some chances, and a couple of players we've got to watch out for. Like Nitesh said, one is obviously Antonio. He's on fire and he can break down our defensive line. Another one's Souček as well from set pieces. West Ham are very good at set pieces, so we've got to watch out for that as well. But yeah, I'd actually just keep the same team.
Felipe Anderson.
He's been very, very hit and miss. Most West Ham fans want him out. He scored in the cup game last night, but that's his first goal in like 2 years for the club. He's not been the guy. That's probably why he's been linked to Arsenal. But just the main ones to look out for is Bowen isn't too bad as well, Antonio, and then obviously Souček, and I don't even know like the other players even playing him, or Lanzini. Don't know if he's injured or not. I'm not too sure about West Ham, but you can tell I don't know much about West Ham just because obviously they don't do much. So, but like when we played them earlier on last season, remember it was 1-0, wasn't it? I think David Luiz header. I think we just managed to win that game at home last season. I think it was David Luiz header.
Yep.
Yeah, remember, smash the likes up, everybody, and do subscribe and do turn on the notification bell. Yeah, like I said, West Ham's a tricky game because on paper we should absolutely smash it. Yeah. But then, I don't know, they always seem to, when the chips are down against them, they always seem to find a performance. And I hope it's not against us. I hope they continue this run of bad form and do it in another game.
If you remember one more thing about West Ham, Declan Rice also picked up a slight knock in the last game. So need to see how fit he is also to play. He didn't go off. I don't think he went off, but he was like down for some time and even limping, I think, at times. Like it was maybe something that he played off, but it also depends then how the injury is treated after that and how he trained and all those things. So if he's fit, if he's not fully fit, it could benefit us more as well.
Yeah, we'll find that out tomorrow, won't we, in the press conference? I guess David Moyes will come out and say. So that'd be even though quite a lot of people don't rate him. Like I think when we were talking when we did the West Ham Chelsea game, we were talking about that as well. Not West Ham Brighton. We were talking about that game, about Declan Rice being overrated. But he is a fairly decent player.
See, overrated, the thing with overrated is not just about the player. It's more about the fans. How they keep rating him more than he deserves to be. So he's not a bad player, but he's not like like people who say he's world class or he's the best or something like that. Those guys overrate him. He's not a bad player. He's a good player, but he's not world class yet. He's not the best midfielder yet. He needs more time to prove it. So if he can, then possibly he can be called the best or one of the best. But right now he is not that good. He is a good midfielder, you can say. But if people start calling him world class and they start calling him he's the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League, that is called overrating. So he's not.
Big up Football Daily Talk and Tyrone. Big up to you guys. Yeah, I think he's overrated. To be honest, I honestly do think he's overrated. I don't understand what the hype is. Like, you put him in a bigger team, and he will flop. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, the only argument there is, unfortunately, you can only judge him by the team that he is in. You can't judge him by what he would do in another team. So let's see what happens there. But right now, as I said, he's a good midfielder. He's a good midfielder. I'll keep saying it, but he's not the best midfielder in the Premier League. He is not world class. That is a long way to go for any player right now, called Declan Rice. He needs time to prove himself, and that can only be seen maybe in a couple of seasons more.
Yeah, I'm not so. I don't know. I guess we'll have to, like you say, if he goes to a bigger club, we'll have to see if he can perform. But I do think though that this should be a relatively easy game. Let us know in the chat what you guys think about the Arsenal West Ham game. Do you think it will be easy, or do you think it will be a cat amongst the pigeons kind of game? And let us know your score predictions as well. Put them in. We will go through our score predictions very soon. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go through score predictions now, and we'll give you reasons why. So, Simpy, what score are you going for in this game?
I think I'm going to go for a 5-0 West Ham win. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah,
I wonder what the odds are on that. If you put that bet on, the odds will be quite good as well.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look when we've finished. Yeah, I'm going for a 3-0 Arsenal win. Yeah, 3-0 Arsenal. I was going to go for a 3-1, like I did for the Fulham game, but this time I'm going to go for a 3-0 Arsenal win. So yeah, I think it will be a bit tougher than the Fulham game, but I still think we'll come out on top and win 3-0.
Yeah. Nitesh?
I think it'll be 2-1 to Arsenal. Even though somewhere I remember that 1-0 to West Ham, and I was thinking that, but I think we are a better team than that team right now, and we have the momentum and the form. So I think 2-1 to Arsenal. It will not be as simple as we think it is, because West Ham will have a point to prove, and I think Moyes will perform like he does in big games. If you see, he does fairly well against big teams. So I think it will be a close game, but we should win it 2-1.
I'm going for a 5-1 Arsenal win.
Jeez.
Yeah. No, I am. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's going to be that kind of game. I really do. I think it's going to be that kind of game. I think Aubameyang's going to be on fire. I think he's going to want to, lay down a marker. He wants to. I've seen a lot of reports suggesting that he wants to try and break Thierry Henry's record, and I think he's just going to be on fire. He's going to try and get as many goals as he can this season. Now that his contract stuff's out of the way, I think he's just focused on breaking those records. And I also think West Ham will struggle. I think maybe for the first 10 minutes, they'll give us a game, but the moment we score a goal, it'll open the floodgates, and I think it'll just be a comfortable afternoon for us. I do think they'll score, but I think it will be like a consolation goal towards the end of the game. When I think we'll get a good number of goals, then we'll probably take our foot off the gas, and that's when they'll probably score. And I think I'm going for a 5-1. I think it could easily be that.
Yep, that could be the case. But I don't think it will be 5-1. 5-1 is a bit too much. So that
Tyrone's going for a 4-1 Arsenal win. Big up Chadwick. He says, "Do I prefer Auber or Peter Crouch?" You absolute joker, Chadwick. That's not even a question, is it?
Yeah, undoubtedly,
Jesus
Daniel
Christ.
prefers Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, I do not. Jesus Christ, Peter Crouch. That lanky streak of piss. No way. Jesus Christ. Jay Shahid's going for 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
3-0 Arsenal from Khan.
Oh, I thought Khan would say West Ham would win.
And
Tyrone is
Tyrone
saying
said Fabianski is
Yeah.
crap. Yeah.
He's not crap. He's good. He's not great.
Fabianski.
Tyrone says Aubameyang, Willian, and Pepe should start this game. I agree with all of them apart from Pepe.
Not gonna start.
I think Aubameyang, Willian, and Laka, I think, will start.
Yep,
Maybe
and
Nketiah, because Arteta's just got a hard on for an Nketiah, so that could be a possibility.
I think he'll start against Leicester, Nketiah. Eddie
Yeah, and
Nketiah,
Pepe too, I think, as well. I think those two.
Yeah.
Like I say, though, those of you on Facebook asking about transfers, we'll cover that tomorrow in his show.
But Zahid had a question for me. He asked, do you think we should keep Elneny? Elneny. Yeah, go ahead, Simpy.
I think we might as
I was
well.
waiting for you to answer it, Nitesh, because it was.
Oh yeah,
No,
because it was a question for you. Yeah.
I know. It was for me, but I wanted everyone to answer, so I was.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to answer it first. That's why I stayed quiet, because I was like, "Okay, Nitesh has got this one."
No. I waited for you guys because I just read it out. Anyway, Simpy, you were saying.
Well, I was going to say, because before I was saying like, no, get him out. There's no need for him. But then looking at it, the price is actually worth, and he's not. I know it's a bit silly saying, "Oh, he's not played too bad in the games he's played." Obviously, we know he's not good enough, but I think as a squad player, I think he's worth keeping just for them cup games, Europa League games, or end of the game sub, just to come on and kind of like, I don't know, say we're a couple of goals up, then he can just come on and help defend the lead. I'd keep him for that. I'd keep him for it. If he's only going to be worth like 6 million or 8 million or whatever, do you think it's worth keeping him? Worth selling him?
Okay.
I don't know with Elneny. Like he's played well. I'm not denying that, but should we really be hanging on to Deadwood? Like I know, like you guys say, he's a good squad player and all that, but the problem is, the reason why we're in this mess as well as a club, and we've got to get out of it, is because we've put too much faith in these Deadwoods, because they have a period of good games, and everyone's like, oh, they've turned a corner, and then in about 3 or 4 months' time, when players like Elneny's going to have a shit game, it'll be, oh, why didn't we sell him when we had the chance? And I just think we can't fall into that trap again just because he has 2 good games, like and not really games that were any decent. Like maybe when he does it against like a Liverpool or a Man City in the league, then you could sort of go, actually, he's actually playing really well. But against this kind of opposition, it's easy for a player like Elneny, because he's not really getting challenged as he would in those big games. So I'm still of the opinion we need to sell him, just to raise money to get our one of our top targets in. So yeah, I'm still sticking by that. I would sell him.
Okay, and so now I'll finally answer, because I know this is going to be like a speech thing. The first thing is that Elneny is playing out of position. His main role actually is that he is a defensive midfielder, and because he's playing with Granit Xhaka, he's not playing in that role. He's playing in the role where he has to push forward and carry the ball. Now that is not his role. The problem is because Arteta will not drop Granit Xhaka, Elneny is playing in a different kind of role. If you've seen him play in the last game against Fulham and against and Liverpool in the Community Shield, he's very good at blocking shots. He's very good at being the wall in front of the defense. But that is exactly what a defensive midfielder does. Unfortunately, because of the fact that we didn't have Dani Ceballos in those games, he was trying to push forward, but his creative play is crap. His finishing is good, but his creative play is absolutely crap. Now, the other thing is, if we want to create goals, if we want to catch up with the team, if we want to try to push forward and get more goals, Elneny is not the right player to play alongside Xhaka. It has to be Ceballos. But if we are trying to play defensive football, we are just trying to block goals, we are trying to protect a lead, or we are trying to play out a draw, like say, suppose if you're playing a home leg where we don't want to concede away goals, for those kind of purposes, Elneny with Xhaka is a good fit. But if you are trying to get goals, if you're trying to create more, if you're trying to push forward and you want to win a game when you are trailing, you want to equalize or you want to win a game, you need a guy like Ceballos. And at that point of time, Elneny can be substituted out. If suppose Xhaka is rested, Elneny then goes back to his original position or the replaced position that he prefers to play, which is the defensive midfielder, where he will be given that role which he's exactly suited to, and someone else like Willock or maybe Ceballos will play that box-to-box or holding midfield role where they can push forward. So that we might see in the cup tie. And I think next game, that is the West Ham game, it will be maybe Ceballos starting with Xhaka, and in the cup tie, it will be Elneny replacing Xhaka and maybe Willock replacing Ceballos. So that is what will be the starting 11 against Leicester. So that is how it is going to be. And unfortunately, the problem with Elneny is because people are expecting him to play in that role where he's playing next to Xhaka. When he's pushing forward, people are expecting that he'll create or produce good through balls. He'll create link-up play, which exactly he can't do. These are the things he can't do. So unfortunately, he's going to get a lot of hate and abuse for that. But as a player in the starting 11, if his role is to defend and block and protect the lead, he is good enough for that. But if it is to create goals, if it is to try and catch up, if it is to try and do what Lucas Torreira was forced to do under Unai Emery, he can't do that.
Big up. Sam Greenwood, who's just joined in the chat. Grant says he's going for a 3-0 Arsenal win. Aubameyang, Willian and Pepe. Chadwick is talking about Claude and AFTV. I think that boat sailed, if we're all being honest. Yeah, big up to you guys in the chat.
Claude is going to take the classes. Oh, so is it that simple? You just take the classes and you're back. Okay, I didn't know, but that's great.
I don't think that. I think he's taking the classes. I did see that on his channel, but I don't think they'll have him back on AFTV, and I don't think he'll go back. But
I think he misses it, and the main thing is that they need him. AFTV will do whatever they must to save their brand. Troops going out, they need Claude.
Depends if they want to lose sponsors or not, doesn't it? It just depends, what they value. But anyway, listen. But anyway, listen. We won't get into that. It's as not to reason why, is it? At the end of the day, it's up to them. That's between Claude and AFTV, and I think it should stay that way. So we'll let them sort it out. Listen, everybody knows, Claude's a decent guy. He just has, sometimes he'll say things wrong. But listen, that is, everybody does that. So, we'll just leave it there. Tyrone says Partey will play in the number 8 role if Arsenal sign him. Grant says Elneny is still shit. I sort of agree. I wouldn't say he's shit. He's just not good enough. I sort of get where you're coming from, Grant, because he's not. Listen, this is the problem. We put too much faith in these types of players, and then when they let us down, we throw them to the wolves. And I'm of the opinion that Elneny's I don't think he's good enough. and you can't get away from that fact. He might have a good game, he might be a good little squad player, but is he going to take us to that next level? Let's be real about this. We have to be honest, you know. And I don't think he is. And I think we need to move on for the club, for the love of the club, and for the greater good of the club. I don't think keeping Elneny just because he has 2 or 3, even 4 good games. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I think if his role
And
is
you
defined,
could even see it, right? You could even see it, right? Elneny said it himself when he done an interview after last week. He said, "Oh, since I've come back, it's totally different. Everybody wants to fight for each other. When I was here before, nobody could give a damn." Do you know what I mean? So he openly admitted that nobody really bothered when he was at the club before. So it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm still of the opinion we need to sell him, and I'm sort of the ruthless opinion that we can't afford to carry passengers. If you're not good enough for this club, then I'm sorry, you need to go, because we've carried passengers for too long, and now we're moving forward. We're trying to achieve bigger goals, bigger ambitions. We know it's going to take time, but unfortunately, you're going to need to get rid of this deadwood. You need to lose that sentimental value, because if you don't lose that sentimental value, then we're never going to achieve what we want to achieve.
I think Elneny with Torreira going away, I think Elneny will have to stay.
Oh, fucking hell! Our resident Welsh trolls in the chat. Football with Brownie. Jesus Christ, he's obviously come up for air after licking some Russian pussy out or something. Jesus Christ.
No, as soon as Simpy said about something catching fire, I got a text from Brownie. I just had my Caribbean food after a long time, and my ass is on fire. So,
he's probably licking Elneny's wife out. That's probably why he's come up for air. He's talking about it. He's, oh shit, Jesus Christ.
I think you gave him a new idea now for Egyptian women.
Chadwick says, "Where is Willock and Nelson in your lineups?" On the bench.
Not even on the bench for me.
They play for us.
They're staying at home for me.
The kids need to be home and go to school.
Tyrone says Wolves are winning. Losing 1-0 at Stoke.
Sheffield United and Leeds are Sheffield United, Leeds, and
Sam saying hi to Adam and hoping that he's washed his hands. I'm hoping he's washed more than his hands, knowing where he's been. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, Simpy, you were saying Sheffield United?
Sheffield United are out, Leeds are out, and Wolves are out of the Carabao Cup.
The Wolves already lost, or they are losing?
It's the 91st minute, so anything can happen, but hopefully they won't. Hopefully Stoke will beat them, so then it makes it easier.
Yep. Imagine Vinagre is playing today as a fullback.
He's still not going to be in the squad.
Sam said I would sell Elneny if it means bringing in Partey, because that's a huge improvement. But if we can't, then he wouldn't mind keeping him because he's proved that he can play.
I don't think there is any relation with the Thomas Partey deal and Elneny staying, because Elneny is not worth anything. Like, even if we sell him, we're not going to get anything great. The main thing is, I think that is related to the Partey deal is Torreira going, and the deal is almost complete. Once we get the cash, we can either go for Partey or OR, whoever we want. And again, that is why I said I think Arteta is not worried about getting another defensive midfielder. That is why he may go for OR over Partey, because he has Xhaka, he has Elneny, and he already has people there. The one player that I think he was also not too confident on is Dani Ceballos, and whether he would want to sign him permanently or not. So Ceballos is on another loan. If OR comes in and OR is playing well, he will keep OR there, who will be a purchase, and next season Ceballos can go back to Real Madrid. We may not even extend his contract.
Yeah. Simpy, do you want to address Hayden quickly, because he's asked you 3 or 4 times about Fortnite? So do you want to address him before he goes mad with?
Possibly, Hayden. If not, I'll do a long one tomorrow when I finish work and for most of the night.
That's what she said.
Luckily, Daniel said address and not undress.
I just said that's what she said when Simpy said, "I'll do a long one tomorrow, possibly not tonight." Chadwick said, "Problem: no one is willing to pay for Elneny $2 million."
Who said no one is willing to pay for Elneny?
I think people would. I think that's what Chadwick said. But I think people will pay for him. Do you see? You know that guy Balogun? Arsenal want 15 million for him. That's why they rejected Sheffield's 3 million. They want 15 million for him.
I think that is only a way to keep him at Arsenal. As simple as that. With things changing,
Sam says Chadwick will buy Elneny and have him as a maid.
And Brownie can have his wife.
Tyrone says, would you take 10 million from West Ham for Kolasinac?
Any day. Take him. I'll give you 1 million discount as well. I'll give you 1 million discount, 1 million commission, 1 million sponsorship fee. Give even if they give us 5 million, I would sell him off. Forget 10 million. 10 million is a huge bonus.
Okay, Simpy, what about you?
Yeah, I'll take him. I think his time's done now. His time's done at that club. Get him off the wages as well, because his wages are insane.
Yeah, I would take 10 million. 10 million for him is good business. Considering we got him on a free.
Yes, so exactly.
That represents a 10 million profit. And like Simpy said, it gets his high wages off. And it might get rid of Ozil once his bodyguard leaves. Do you know what I mean? He might leave. So, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take 10 million.
Wish West Ham could sign Ozil, but unfortunately they can't. Would you guys?
Chadwick saying the Carabao Cup shit. Who won it last season? Man City. The FA has to come up with a better tournament fixture. I wouldn't necessarily say the Carabao Cup shit. I mean, because it's an outlet for teams to play up and coming players. You know, I know that Wenger always looked at it that way, and I know there's a lot of other teams. Man City are the only team that have probably taken it seriously, and they play their strong. They play their strong team.
Even they switch around a bit, but the unfortunate part is that their entire team is strong. Their entire squad is strong. No, I know. You read the Cardiff comment. I know.
I read Grant's comment
about Cardiff. I know.
Yes. Yeah. That was brilliant. They love to pay for crap.
Yeah, so I was saying, the problem with Manchester City is their entire squad is strong. So it becomes tough to differentiate between their first team and their second team, because when you have such good players, you know who else is crap? Gabriel Jesus. Talking about crap.
Tyrone says thoughts on Bale to Spurs.
I think he's Mesut Ozil 2.0, but a bit better, slightly better, and I don't think he's trying to revive his club career, but the only reason he's coming back to Spurs is, one, because he's respected there, and two, the other reason is that he wants to save something for Wales. He said Wales, golf, Real Madrid. So he likes Spurs, but the ultimate goal, I think, is to do something and represent Wales, because now if he doesn't play football, he will not be able to represent Wales in the Euros possibly, or in the World Cup. He wants to do both. If he's not playing any kind of regular football, on what basis will they pick him? So he wants to get some match fitness, so that at least he can play at the international level, if not for Real Madrid. And if he possibly moves to Spurs and is able to revive his career, that is even better.
Yeah. So West Ham tomorrow, West Ham Saturday, sorry, fucking tomorrow. So because there's a new lot of people in the chat, just run through your score predictions again for the latecomers.
I've gone for a 3-0 Arsenal win.
Yeah. Nitesh?
I'm doing a Theo Walcott, but 2-1.
Okay, so you're still going for 2-1. And I'm still going for 5-1 Arsenal win. 5-1. No, 10-1. Jesus God, I ain't that famous deluded. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll wrap up here because I think it's been a good preview. We've pretty much discussed everything. We've read out some chats. Simpy, just tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, cheers Daniel and cheers Nitesh, and big up everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining along. And yeah, you can just find me Simpy141 or Simpy on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So yeah, cheers.
Yeah, and Nitesh, just tell everybody where they can find you.
Yep, and big up to the guys on Arsenal FC fans as well. And also, you can find me on Beyond the Post on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And thank you, Daniel and Simpy. It's always good to be with you guys on the panel as well. And big up to people in the chat.
Yeah. Listen, guys, thanks to everybody tuning in. Like I say, tomorrow, possibly do a transfer update. Saturday, got the watch along for the Arsenal West Ham game. Sunday, doing a watch along for the Chelsea Liverpool game. So that's going to be an interesting watch along. Also, either Sunday or Monday, there'll be a review for the West Ham game. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. Do smash a like on this video. Do hit the subscribe button and do turn on that notification bell. Would really appreciate it. Listen, until tomorrow, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from these guys. And there's only one thing left to say is, come on, you Gunners.
Come on.
Come on, you Gunners.
Let's go.